And there are hundreds of variations of pasta al funghi. But the bottom line is, it's easy to make and it's full of umami and super delicious. So this is really something you need to do and try in many variations. I have my mise en place ready here with all the ingredients. And we are using today 2 pounds or half a kilo of Portobello. Cut them out like 1/4 inch, 6-7 millimeters thick. You see these are big, but I don't want to cut them smaller because they do shrink and I do like the visuals of them being the whole mushroom when they come in the sauce after. 1.5 pounds, 700 grams, no, 400 grams of oyster mushrooms or Portobello. And we're going to get those started on our stove here. So something like middle heat and olive oil. And we will probably have to add more olive oil as we go because they do tend to take and suck up some oil, which is a lot of flavor. So in with our mushrooms, those 2 at least, because we have a third one I want to talk about a little bit. So let them get started because they have to release all the water before they start frying, and that will take some time. The third mushroom component I have is dried shiitake. And they are rehydrating in white wine. And it's not a...
Drunken mushroom.
Drunken mushrooms. But dried shiitake is not a substitute for fresh shiitake. It's 2 very different products because the dried ones, they give much deeper flavor and much more umami to this. But they have rehydrated. We press out some of the white wine. And then I'm just going to cut them up like I did the others. And then you see the flesh is like hydrated, much darker than a fresh shiitake, and that will give great flavor. So they go straight in like this. I'll cut these up and we'll start reducing this, and I'll show you as we go along. And here we are with the last of the shiitake. And actually the reason I'm rehydrating, I wanted to say, in white wine is because it goes faster than when you do it in water. If you do it in water, you might have to leave them overnight in the fridge, but this way, a couple of hours, they're good to go. And then the wine is also good to reuse because we're going to use that to deglaze the pan. So all that umami flavor that the mushrooms gave here stays in our sauce.
You have many aces up your sleeves.
I have many tricks, and you see how they're starting to release water now. So this will go pretty quick, but I will need to add a touch more oil, as I said, because they do take some of it. And that's also an important component of our sauce. So I will reduce this and see you when they start frying. As all the water has disappeared, you can see there's nothing left in the bottom. You can actually hear the sound changes. Now it starts frying. So you can basically, if you're doing something else, you can hear when it starts, now it's ready. But again, now it's a little bit dry, a little bit more oil. And now we want to fry it for 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that, so we get some nice browning and some deeper flavor out of them. So let them fry up a little bit here. And now everything is nice and dark and nicely fried up. As you can see the color here, it's really nice and dark, so heavy flavors. That's perfect, it smells fantastic. Now I'm going to take down the heat a little bit, and then I'm going to scoop out my mushrooms because I don't want them in here while I build the base of the sauce. You could do that, but I just think you overcook them, and I don't like that idea. So there we are. So with a little bit reduction in temperature, we're going to add a squirt more of oil, just a little bit. And we're going to go in with a whole white onion, finely diced. And that we're going to let soften and get translucent. Don't have the temperature too high for this because we don't want them browning apart from the color they pick up from the fond. But I don't want to fry the onions, I want to soften. So give that 4 or 5 minutes. Now our onions, they are nice and soft and they picked up a little bit of color. So now we want to make a little bit of space here. A small dash of oil. And then I have here 2 cloves of minced garlic. You can put more or less. You do you, but it needs some garlic in my opinion. That's a necessity. half a teaspoon of red chili flakes. Fry them up a little bit.
That's your must ingredient.
I like chili in my food, okay?
Yeah.
And we are talking literally 20, 30 seconds, then it starts smelling good. And then we mix it in. And then our base here is ready. Next up, remember our mushroom infused white wine. So in with that and help release the fond with your spatula. Because same as with meat, when you fry mushrooms, you get a lot of fond in the pot, and that gives a lot of flavor that you want to lift off the bottom and get in your sauce. And now we want to let this reduce until the alcohol is gone and about half reduced before we continue. So give it a couple of minutes. And as you can see, about half of it is reduced. It doesn't smell of alcohol anymore. So now we are ready to continue. And I'm going in with half a liter or 2 cups of chicken stock. You could use beef stock, but you have a lot of dark flavors in the mushroom, so I think it becomes too heavy if you do that. And now we want to bring this back to a simmer, and actually that goes pretty fast. You have a nice induction stove like this, it goes very
But I
fast.
think that will make all the difference in the sauce than just going with plain water, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That will
Always,
take it to another level.
always go with stock. And half a liter, 2 cups heavy cream. In with that. And now we want to let this combine and enjoy itself and become friends. So everything starts tasting good, but we want this to simmer and we want it to reduce a little bit. So I'm going to give it also a pinch of salt, but be careful. Don't salt too much now because we're going to add Parmesan later, and that is salty, but I want the salt to help things combine a little bit. And then 2 tablespoons of dried thyme. If you have fresh, use it. I didn't, so dry. It's all good. Get that mixed in, bring it to a simmer, and let it reduce ever so slightly. So see you in 10. And now this has thickened up a little bit, and let me show you what we are looking for here. We are looking for that pan sauce consistency. So take a spoon, coat it, and then on the back side, if you draw your finger, if it stays like that, your sauce is perfect. And let me taste it also. Needs salt, but as I said, Parmesan. So we're going to add this straight up, microplaned Parmesan, and it will melt in very, very quickly. And that will thicken it up a little bit more. And this is exactly the point where, before I add my mushrooms back to the game, I want to see where I am on the salt level. So give me a clean spoon, no double dipping. That's not polite. Pinch of salt. That will do it. Nothing more. And then we are going to add all our mushrooms back to the pot. Get it all mixed in so they can become friends like before. The friend group is expanding. Ooh, this looks so good. And there is a nice big pot of this. And then a handful of roughly chopped parsley. In it goes. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit and let it simmer, very low simmer, because now we don't want to overboil it. We don't want it to get thicker than it is. It's perfect consistency. So down with this, and then that can combine flavors while we do the pasta, where I will show you a little trick. Pasta pot with water, heavily salted, and that's where it comes with what I mean with heavily salted. I am going to taste my pasta water, and yes, I want you to do that. Taste it. Make sure it's salty enough. It has to taste like seawater. And the science behind it is that seawater has 3.3 to 3.2% salt by weight. So if you have a liter of water, you need 30 grams of salt about. This is about 4 liters, so you do the math. Half a kilo of linguine, could be a broader pasta if you so want, pappardelle, whatever, but in with that. Give it a stir in the beginning so nothing sticks, and then we cook it 1 minute shy of what the packet says. And remember, preserve some of the pasta water when it's finished so we can have it to emulsify in our sauce. See you in 10. So our pasta is ready. We have our preserved pasta water. And a small trick here, because we made a huge batch. Take half of your sauce, put it in a topper, and you can even freeze it. Then you have easy next Wednesday, a beautiful meal again, because this was way too much for half a kilo of pasta. So now we crank up the temperature, give it a little bit of a stir, and then we are gonna dunk in all our almost cooked pasta. And with a pair of tongs, we start flipping this around. And that will coat it nicely. The sauce now is thick and it's coating nicely, but not nicely enough. I want to add some of the pasta water because that will help it. I don't know, the starch makes...
together.
Yeah, the starch in the pasta water makes it stick to the pasta very nicely, the sauce, and also that can adjust the consistency of your sauce. So crank it up a little bit more because now we want it boiling so we can finish our pasta. It will take 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then we have a beautiful, creamy, I mean, you can already see that, look at it. It's fantastic. Oh my God, this is gonna be good eating today. So just give it a stir.
Where is your smoked pancetta?
Well, I could have added smoked pancetta. Easy.
No, sprinkled on top.
Yeah, I could have done that. No, but yeah, actually you could do that. You could do cubes of smoked pancetta, render out the fat, use that to do your mushrooms. That will make fantastic flavor.
Next variation, next way.
And by the way, if you want to make this fully vegetarian, then you just use vegetable broth instead of the chicken stock. But I prefer the chicken stock any day.
We are not vegetarians.
No. Absolutely carnivores. This is ready, so we're going to plate this up, shoot a thumbnail, and see you at the taste test. Well, it looks and smells fantastic. I mean, it's just beautiful. Let me get some linguine here, some mushroom, and Parmesan. This is going to be good. There is but one verdict. That's absolutely amazing. It's rich, it's deep, tons of umami, easy to make, and freezes well. So you just have, this is a winner, and you should definitely try this out.